Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, college coaches. This is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. As most of you know, we are a new startup company based here in Austin or Round Rock, Texas. We have created a technology platform that allows student athletes to not only tell their story, but share their journey with college coaches and let them know who they are on the field, off the field, in the classroom, out of the classroom, in their communities, at home, talk about their families. The little things are what we call the intangibles when it comes to recruiting. Trying to create a platform to let these student athletes know that they are more than their huddle video, they are more than their transcript, and they're more than their stats. So really excited about the student athlete, the prospect we have on the call tonight. But before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsors. First sponsor is Buffalo Wild Wings. Good friend of mine, is like a brother to me, Brian Soltis, one of their regional GMs, is a big supporter of Texas high school sports, and he has partnered with Buffalo Wild Wings, myself, to give these student athletes a platform. So shout out to Brian Soltis and Buffalo Wild Wings. I also want to thank my friends up in Nebraska, Go Edit Graphics. If you are a high school or college or pro athletic program, and you want to have better graphics to do outbound communication, whether it's a player spotlight or communicating your schedule or just quotes from players, they make these great graphics. We don't have to design anything. You can customize with their designs and get your message out there in a much more visual, appealing process. So thanks to Zach and my friends up at Go Edit Graphics. And then lastly, my friends over at Epic. Epic is a company based out of Houston. They do a lot of sports apparel. They do football uniforms. They do 7-on-7 uniforms. They do masks. They do gloves. They do sweats. They do track outfits. They do a little bit of everything with a really great design and flair to them. Shout out to my boy, who's the CEO, Stefan Johnson, for sponsoring the show. So looking forward to continue to do the support of my sponsors. With all that said, the business side off to the side, let's get into talking about this young man who I've known now for a while and his great family. He comes from a family of athletes. Kory Thomas is a class of 23. He's an athlete. He can play a lot of different positions. He's over here in Round Rock at Stony Point High School. He's 5'10", 190 pounds. I love this part. 4.7 GPA. I don't think if you took my high school and my college GPA and put them together, probably still wouldn't be 4.7. So I respect that. He was obviously academic all district. He's a junior Olympian, All-American, track and field. And coach, you can see his Twitter name there. Kory, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about hearing more about you. I've obviously followed your dad and I are obviously good friends, and your older brother. But I'm looking forward. Now you're kind of getting into that process. Now we're going to be going into your junior year here and coming up. We're excited to hear more about what you've been doing to kind of cast your own shadow outside of your brother. So let's just jump right into it, Kory. First and foremost, we got to bring out the grades, the academics. We talk about it every Sunday night on our prayer call. But tell us about the importance that you put on your academics and how you get a 4.7 GPA.
My parents always taught me that academics was really important. So I try to do the best in all my classes, pay attention, get it down, and make sure that I have everything that I need in that class to succeed. And I know that education will open up a lot of doors in the future. So I'll try to stay on top of that.
Kory, have you always been a good student, or did a light come on in middle school, or maybe your freshman year, or have you always been a good student?
I've always been pretty smart, I would say, but I really started to excel. I think I was excelling pretty early in school, and I was always doing a pretty good job.
Well, you're obviously you're training to be an elite athlete. You got the strong GPA. There's a lot of players. Let's keep it real here. A lot of players don't have half the GPA. I know a lot of kids that have a 2.3 GPA. If there's one knowledge of information you would like to share with other student athletes that want to get their GPA higher or as high as yours, what's the one thing you would tell them that they have to do to turn their GPA around?
Don't be embarrassed to try to get help, and you can never go wrong trying to ask for help and get help from somebody that knows it.
Yeah, that's great. No, and I think for the players that are listening, obviously the coaches already know this, but having a 4.7 GPA, Corey, is only going to expand your recruiting options. You talk about Ivy League, you're talking about private schools, you're talking about D1, D2, and D3. So kudos to you on listening to your parents, who I know very well, and how they stress how important academics are. I know you're at starting point right now. Tell us, is there a favorite subject that you like to focus on? Are you a numbers guy, history, English? What's your favorite classes?
I like chemistry and
Oh,
I
wow.
like history because I like seeing how things came to be and how things are made. I
Mhm.
think it's really interesting to see how those things are done and it came to
Okay.
be.
Is there a favorite teacher? And it doesn't have to be at Stony Point. Maybe it was somebody in elementary or middle school. Is there a certain teacher that made learning fun for you sometime between now and back in the day? And if you know who they are, shout out their name.
Um, I had a teacher last year in my freshman year, my principles of health science teacher, Ms. Mayville. She was always giving us fun little things during class, like we play games to help us learn it better. And she was more relatable and we could talk with her and stuff like that.
Mhm. Excellent. Okay. Corey, tell these coaches, every coach wants to know how best to coach and develop their student athletes. Tell these coaches, are you more your learning style? Are you more verbal, visual, or more hands-on when it comes to learning?
I like learning visually and hands-on. Sometimes I like to learn by doing it, and I can also catch on quick by hearing it and seeing things done also.
Okay. Corey, as you probably know, I'm sure your dad shared with you, the NCAA is finally getting back to a normal recruiting cycle starting here on June 1st, which means coaches will be able to come and visit prospects after school, in class, coming up in the fall. For these coaches that haven't visited you yet, you're still early in the recruiting process. Tell them, give them a sneak peek of when they do come see you in class. Where are you sitting? How are you interacting with your classmates? How are you interacting with your teacher?
I try to sit in the front, and I'm always respectful to my teachers and my peers. I treat them how I would want to be treated, and I always help out wherever I can.
Okay. Well, with the high GPA 4.7, I know if I was your teammate and I was struggling in classes, I would come to you and say, "Hey, Corey, man, I'm struggling in chemistry or English. Do you help out your other teammates who are maybe not achieving at the same GPA that you are?"
Yes, sir. I can. If I know that someone's struggling, I can help them out if they reach out to me, and I can work with them, try to teach them things that I know, little tricks that can help them get better.
Okay, I like it. That's good stuff. I know it's early, Corey, but I'll ask you: do you have an idea what you might want to major in when you do get to college?
I haven't settled down on an exact course of study, but I would like to try out forensics because I think that's pretty interesting.
Nice. Okay. Are you a big fan of all these crime scene shows, CSI, SVU, Law and Order, all those shows, or no? Like, I know I am.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good stuff. Hey, let's switch over and talk about your great family. I've been friends with your dad for a long time. Obviously, love the family. Tell us about your mom and dad, what they do. Are they former athletes? Talk about your siblings. Are you the baby? Are you the oldest? I know you're not the oldest, but tell these coaches a little bit more about the Thomas family.
My parents are really supportive. They support me in whatever I do. They try to help me out when they can. And they're just really a good role model and someone that can support me, I can go to for advice. My brother, I also ask him for advice sometimes. I like to look up to him. He's my role model. I do a lot of things because he taught me how to do it, and I really looked up to him. And my family, we're we are all athletes. We've all been doing athletics since we were all little. It's really a part of our family. We like to do athletics, and yeah, it's a big part of
Okay.
who we are.
Every coach wants to understand, were your mom and dad athletes? What sports did they play?
My dad, he did track, football. I think he did basketball. My mom played basketball,
Yeah.
and they were both good athletes.
And let's not be shy, because I'm sure Kendall might be listening right now. I mean, shout out your brother, who he is. I mean, you do have an elite athlete in your family. Let's talk about what kind of role model he's been for you now that he's playing in college.
He's always been someone to look up to and trustworthy. I could always know that he's doing the right thing, that I could count on him, that I can always look up to him for advice and he'd give the good advice. And I've always tried to, he's someone that I would try to beat when I was little. Like I would always try to compete with him and I was getting better by doing that. Since he was a great athlete, I would try to compete with him and I was getting better and better.
Okay, I like it. And is it just the two of you, or is there anybody else
Yeah,
in
it's
your
just
team?
the two of us.
Okay. All right, good stuff. Hey, tell us, obviously you spend a lot of time working out, get ready for the season, 7-on-7, the season coming up. When you have some free time, homework's done, there's no workout, there's no 7-on-7 or anything. What do you like to do when you do have some free time? What kind of hobbies do you have?
I like playing video games. I watch anime. Um, it's a big part of who I am. I like to play those type of games. You can see me playing 2K, Rocket League, games like that. That's what I like to do.
Okay. Well, you mentioned video games. I have to ask you, are you giving L's or are you taking L's?
Oh no, I'm giving them. I'm giving them.
Okay, good answer. I like it. Kory, I think you know from your dad and obviously your mom how important, and from your brother, how important social media is when it comes to recruiting. For any coach that maybe haven't visited your Twitter page yet, tell them what kind of message, what kind of brand are you putting out there about yourself, your school, and your teammates?
I'm putting out a positive brand. I want to show that I'm someone that's reliable and that is not going to do the wrong thing. I'm not easily swayed by peer pressure and those types of things.
Okay. And then are you all, is it more of a, do you consider your Twitter and your social media more personal or more professional? Are you using it to try and like a resume to have a positive impact in your recruiting, or are you sharing a little bit about yourself personally and everything else?
I've been keeping it more business, not business, recruit
Professional, yeah.
related recruitment. Yes, sir.
Okay, good stuff. Tell me, one of my favorite questions. What's your favorite all-time sports movie?
I like Space Jam. That was a more fun movie
Okay.
for me to watch
Okay.
growing up.
The new one or the old one?
The
Jordan or
old
Durant
one, the
or
one with
LeBron?
Michael Jordan.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Okay. Tell us when it's your turn to pick what you guys are having for dinner. What's your favorite food? What do you like to eat?
I'm not too picky when it comes to food, but I definitely like wings the most.
Okay,
I'm a
wings.
big
Okay.
wings guy, yes, sir.
All right. I thought you were more of a seafood fan. I see food and I eat it kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, tell me, I don't know if you're a big Justice League or Marvel, but if you who's your favorite superhero? Who would you want to be if you could be one of the superheroes right now? You a Tony Stark, Iron Man? Are you a Thor or Superman? Who's your favorite?
I'll pick Black Panther
There you go. I like
because
it.
he has a really cool suit and he's also royalty. And
Yeah.
yes, sir, I
Okay.
kind of like that.
I like that. Yeah, that's might be my choice too. Tell us from a personal standpoint, as you get into the recruiting process, who are the people that are going to help you make that college decision here over the next couple of years?
Definitely my parents and my brother, since he's just been through this process.
Mhm.
I think he knows what's going on and he can give me some good advice.
Yeah, no, great example there. Um, there's not a student athlete that doesn't love playing in front of a packed house for you at Kelly Reeves Stadium on a Friday night. It's always great as athletes to look up and see a crowded, full capacity spectators at the game. But tell us, what are you doing to give back to the Stony Point and Round Rock community? What are some of the things you're doing? Are you involved in your church? Are you involved in nonprofits? What are you doing to give back to the people that support you at your games?
I help out with my church. We do food drives. We help out with school supplies, small things like that, just giving back to the community. And I also do some things around the school, like helping out, doing some stuff like that. So,
I like it. Okay, good answer. I like that. One of my favorite questions, Kory. Football is going to come to an end one day, whether it's under your terms or under its terms. What do you want your life to look like once you're done with the game or the game's done with you?
my goal is to make it to the NFL. But if that doesn't work out, then I still want to be able to have a solid job, make some money, and start a family.
Okay, I like it. And hopefully you can do both at the same time while you're playing NFL, still work out at that next thing because you know what the NFL stands for, not for long. So make sure you have a plan for whenever it comes to an end. I like that. Do you have a favorite quote? And if you do, what is it?
I like the quote that says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll still be among the stars."
Yeah, I
I
like it.
like that quote because it shows that hard work doesn't fizzle out. It'll always help you down the road. Even if you don't achieve your goal, you made better and you're still a winner.
I like that. You know, one of my favorite sayings you hear me say a lot at my camps and stuff. Hard work always pays off, no matter what you're doing, whether it's football or anything else. I love that you understand that. Um, Tell me, you know, you've been playing sports for a long. Well, let's talk about this. What other sports besides football do you play? Even back when you were in youth football, I know you were track. What else do you? Basketball, baseball. What else do you do?
I played baseball, but my main sport other than football is track.
Hmm.
I do track. I run long, do long jump, triple jump, 4x1. Yes.
Okay. How was your season this year?
I didn't play. I didn't run this year,
Okay.
but I'm coming back next year.
Great. Okay. Football college coaches love football players that compete in track. So you're on the right path once again. It's kind of a crazy question, but Kory, we talk about it on our call on Sunday nights. What's your why? Why do you play the game? Why are you passionate about it? Why do you love it so much? What is your why in playing football?
I've always been around football my whole life, growing up with it. I just started to love the sport, and it's become a part of who I am. It's just I love sports as it teaches a lot of life skills.
Yep.
It teaches you that you never give up on anything. You always try your best, and even if something goes wrong, you can't just think about it. You have to move on and think about what's going on next.
Okay. So you played football, obviously track, you said baseball. One of my favorite questions. What's your all-time favorite sports memory of yourself? When do you try to take a look back and go, oh yeah, third grade or fifth grade? Yeah, I did that. What's your favorite memory of yourself as a player?
One of my favorite memories as a player was before the state championship when we were walking out to the football field and we were in the tunnel. You could just hear everyone's cleats clacking and the sound of that just echoing off the walls. And as you walked out, you saw the light come out of the stands. It was a packed crowd cheering and all of that. Your names were being announced and a lot was going on. It just felt great.
Yeah, that definitely gets you hyped. That's a great memory. Do you have a nickname? Does your family have a nickname for you? You just go by Kory.
My dad calls me Woogie, and my mom can't stand it. But everybody else, like my friends, some of my coaches call me KT.
Okay, I like it. Hey, let's switch into recruiting here as we finish up, Kory. I appreciate your time. Tell me, what makes you a great teammate? How would your teammates describe you as a teammate?
I'm selfless. I try to get everyone around me a piece of the cake. I want everyone around me to succeed, and I want to make sure that everyone around me is good and not just myself.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and it's kind of a strange question, but we had this talk actually on the call on Sunday night not too long ago. Uh, do you trust your teammates? Do your teammates trust you? And the same thing for your coaches. Do you trust your coaches, and they trust you in a critical part of the game? Talk to us about how important trust is as a student athlete.
I think trust is pretty big because you can't really go anywhere without trust as you're a team and you're a unit together. So I trust my team and I think they trust me too. We work really well together. We built some chemistry. And yes, sir, I think trust is pretty big because
Okay. All right. Good answer. I like it. Would you say what motivates you? What motivates you to play your best on a Friday night in front of your family and in front of the community?
just striving to always be better. I think that you can always get better no matter what you're doing. So, and I always want to be the best that I can be no matter what I'm doing. And pushing myself to be the best keeps me motivated because I know that there's another level that I can reach. I can always get better. And I just want to make myself the best that I can be.
Yeah, no, I like it. Great response. You know, adversity is a big part of this game that we love in football, in any sport, and in life. One quarter you could be, you know, running over people and getting 100 yards, and next quarter you could have two fumbles. How do you, as an athlete, handle adversity, the highs and lows of playing the game?
I just keep my head up and face it head on because I know that it'll get better and that you just got to stay strong and work through it.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why, Kory, I love football so much. You know, football is four quarters, and you know you can have a rough couple years in life and say, okay, hey, next couple years I'm going to be better, and by the time it's over, towards the end when I get older, I'll be even better. I mean, I think football. I agree with you. Football teaches you life skills that you really can't learn from other sports, and it's why I'm a big fan and love the game so much. And I think you have the same thing there. Um, Tell me, leadership is something that every college coach loves. How do you define leadership, and how do you plan on leading your team next year going into the season?
Leadership to me is being a role model and being someone that people can look to when they need help or whatever it may be. And I think leader is just being that guy that people can go to and that they need, that they see as a role model. And that I plan on being a leader by being a role model, doing the right things, helping people out, and making sure that we succeed as a team.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, knowing your dad and our similarities in coaching. But uh, tell me, do you think leadership only happens during the season, or how do you lead in the off season, in the summer, as it goes into the season? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I think being a leader never really stops, and that you can always do things that show yourself as being a leader. I think that during the off season, you can lead your team by making sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be, not making bad decisions, and making sure that they're focused on what they need to be doing and not the wrong things.
Yeah, no, I like that. Corey, we talked about leadership on our calls on Sunday night with Larry Shaw and your dad and others. People have this thinking of leadership that it's always the rah rah guy after something good happens. He's cheering a big touchdown or a big hit. Leadership is also telling a teammate, dude, you need to get your grades up. Sometimes being a leader is those difficult conversations. Have you ever had to have a difficult conversation with one of your teammates? Say, hey, we're depending on you. You need to pick up either your grades or your effort or your work ethic. Tell us about that experience.
I haven't really had a major experience where I needed to do that with any of my peers, but if I needed to, I would approach them and tell them that they needed to focus on the right things and that they got to get their priorities straight if they really want to play football and have a great team this year.
Yeah, I like it. It's a great response. As we finish up here, let's talk about recruiting a little bit. I know you're just now getting the recruiting process. Tell us what schools are you interested in? Are you interested in staying in the state? Are you interested in going to school anywhere in the country? Give us a little bit about your mindset as you start to really get into the recruiting process.
I'm keeping my options open. I'm not really too bent on one specific thing. I'm open to any colleges if it's in the state or out of the state, and I'd be grateful for an opportunity at any college.
Okay. And then obviously, we haven't picked a major yet, but what are some things now that you think you'll be looking for to help you make the decision that, oh yeah, I'm going to commit to school XYZ?
One of the big things for me is if it feels like home. If I can see myself being there for 4 years, if I like the environment, the people, if they're really like people that I like, and things like that. If I like the coaches, the school.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to really have that under control here. Hey, last couple of questions. We'll let you get back to your evening. How would you describe your competitive spirit? I have a lot of friends that coach all across the country, and every coach loves coaching a player that loves to compete. Talk to us. Tell these coaches how competitive are you as a player?
I'm a really competitive player. I love to win, and I try to do everything that I can to win. Um, I've always been really competitive. Growing up with my brother, we've always been really competitive with each other. Um, I think that competition is a great thing because it lets both sides be the best that they can be and
Mm.
show out the best that they can.
Yeah, great response. It's a great answer. You completely understand that. Hey, let's finish up. We talked about this earlier, Kory. Elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is a term in business that we use that you're in front of either a CEO or a potential investor in your business. Got 30 seconds. Sell them on yourself. Look in the camera right now and tell these college coaches why they should recruit you and what you're going to bring to their program.
My name is Kory Thomas. I'm a strong, talented player who's energetic, brings a lot of energy to the field. I'm a good leader, and I keep my grades up, and I help my teammates out. I'm a selfless player who can help out, do what I'm told, and I'm very coachable.
That might be one of the best elevator pitches I ever heard, man. I mean, I think Coach would definitely be interested in that. Kory, we talk all the time on the calls on Sunday. If you ever need anything, consider me a resource. I will definitely get this recording out to coaches. I know you're working hard this off season, and I expect you to have a really big junior year. Have a great rest of the night. Tell the family I said hello, and I'll be seeing you soon. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Kory.
You too.